Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm just using my cell phone today. We're gonna be out and about. Got the 64 Fairlane here. I don't have a title for it, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. Probably go through the bonded title process. So let's get this thing started up, get it loaded onto the trailer, get it down so we can get it inspected. I'll talk a little bit about the process. All right, see if we can get this thing fired up here. Oh man, it's dusty. It's been sitting for a while. So we're gonna need a battery. Made a note for myself that there's no water in the system, so I gotta put some water in there. But we're just gonna fire it up, put it on the trailer. So not too worried about that, but yeah, let's go find a battery. All right, I think one of these might work. Let's try this one. That one didn't actually fit, so let's try this one. It's a little smaller here. A little bit smaller, it might fit. Oh yeah, I forgot. Robbed the cable ends off of these, and these are way too short. What the heck? I was fishing around through this wiring stuff the other day. I thought I saw some battery cables. Maybe? Did find some cables over here. I had to put one of these universal ends on this cable, so that should be long enough for the positive. And then this one right here, I found under the bench. Yeah, it'll work. Got the battery cables more or less in there. Yeah, that's just temporary. Let's check the oil in this thing. There it is. Yeah, it's got oil. All right, this thing's been sitting for months. That's not good. Alrighty. Alright, I don't see any fuel leaking, but I think I do have some starting fluid, so let's try some of that. Oh, there we go. And before I get this thing fired up, I gotta figure out why the throttle cable is not pulling back. I think the cable is just crappy. A better spring there, maybe. All right, just fill the float bowls. Give it a little splash down the throat, see what happens. So the accelerator pump arm is totally frozen. You can see it doesn't even move, just compresses that spring. So I gotta try to free that up. All right, got it freed up. Now it's actually shooting out of here, but when I got it freed up, it actually spat out here. So where did that come from? I don't know if it's torn or if it just leaked out of a dry spot. I don't know. I'm gonna fire it up and then see what happens. All right, it runs. Let's see if I have a big old fuel leak. No, so far so good. All right, let's try this again. Let's check fuel leaks. Anything wet? No? I think that's a win. Okay. Let's get this thing in position to load it on the trailer. All right. Got her all strapped down to the trailer. Time to hit the road. If you find a car that you want to buy, they can't find the title. Maybe you pulled it out of a barn or somebody's backyard, or you bought a piece of property, maybe the car was sitting on it, whatever the case may be. Don't necessarily pass on that car right quick. Don't give up on it, because there's usually a way to get a title for pretty much any vehicle. Now, I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving you advice or telling you how to do this process. I'm just kind of going to be sharing my experience getting a bonded title on a vehicle. So if there's a will, there's a way. Just put it that way. Whether you have to go to a different state or whatever, you can figure that out. I've done this process once before, getting a bonded title on a vehicle that I purchased a few years ago. It took a few months and hundreds of dollars to get that process done. So basically, here in Arizona, what they do is they look in their computer system to see if there's any registered owner on file. And if there is, then you have to send a certified letter to the last known address of the previous registered owner, or current registered owner, I guess, in this case. And then you have to wait 30 or 90 days or whatever it is in order to wait for a reply to see if somebody stakes claim to the vehicle. So that whole time you're kind of sweating bullets, because you just spent a bunch of money buying the car, dragging it home and everything, and now you're waiting for somebody to say, hey, that's mine. So fortunately, nothing came back. I bought it from a resto mod shop that went under, and they lost the title. They never transferred it because they were just going to build the car and sell it. So anywho, I went through a third-party DMV, and so I had all of their fees on top of the bond charge, cost of the bond, and the any DMV fees that they had there, registration and such. This time around, it was much cheaper and much faster. So I went down to the DMV. Actually, let me back up. I went to another third-party DMV, so I was just going to do the same thing over again. And then they couldn't find the VIN in their system. And they were going to charge me $200 to go through the process. They looked up the VIN. They couldn't find anything at all. And they said, okay, since we can't find it in the system, we need to have you go to the DMV. Well, actually in Arizona here, we call it an MVD, Motor Vehicle Division. Well, I'll have to go to the DMV and get a level 1 inspection. So that basically means that they will come out, verify the VIN on the vehicle, make sure it matches the paperwork. So I left, went down to the DMV, pulled up to the level 1 inspection parking spot. Now, when you go to your local DMV, make sure that you're in the right area, so that way they don't yell at you to move it. So, in some DMVs, you might need an appointment. If they need a level 2 or level 3 inspection, at least here, there's only certain locations that do those inspections, and a police officer will inspect the VIN, and they'll look at the hidden VINs and that sort of thing, just to kind of verify everything's on the up and up, that the vehicle is what the vehicle claims it is. So basically, it pulled up, went inside, waited in line like normal, and then started the process at the desk. And then the gal met me out at the car, said that they can't climb on the trailer, so you might have to back the car off the trailer in order for them to look at the VIN. Fortunately, I was able to pop the hood and we were able to see the VIN right there without having to, from the ground, without having to drop the car off the trailer. So that was convenient. So we did find a discrepancy on the handwritten paperwork that I had. They mistook the F4 for a Y, which is why the third-party DMV probably didn't find anything. So we went back inside. She rechecked the correct VIN in the system, also went into the archives, couldn't find any reference to any current or past registered owners on that vehicle, which worked in my favor, because then since there's nobody to contact, I didn't have to send out a certified letter and then wait the required amount of days for something or nothing to come back. Or actually, the certified letter will get sent back undeliverable. That's how that would work. So we were able to proceed with the bonded title process. So she gave me the paperwork that I needed to give to the bond company. She set the bond at $47.25. Now, you don't pay that amount. You pay for the bond, which covers that amount. So basically, at least here, it was 1.5 times the value of the vehicle is what the bond amount needs to be. I don't know where they come up with the value of the vehicle, if it's like NADA Guide or Kelley Blue Book or some other third-party classic car value website. I don't know. She didn't tell me. I didn't ask. But so she gave me the paperwork. Then sent me on my way. Told me to come back in 24 hours. So went home, called my insurance company. I told them I needed a bond for that amount for the $47.25. They said it's going to be $165 for the bond. Paid the fee. Then they emailed me the bond. I printed it out, and then this morning I went back to the DMV and gave them the paperwork. Shows that I had a bond on it, and I just made some signed a few things. Paid for the registration for 2 years was $37.55, and now I have a title and license plates and registration sticker coming in the mail that I should have here in another week or two. So all in all, pretty easy process. Started it just a couple days ago by taking the car down there, and then just doing everything at the DMV. Made it really easy and inexpensive. I didn't have to pay the extra $200 to have the third-party DMV do all this for me. Yeah. So all in all, I mean, we have $37.55 for the registration. It was $165 for the bond, and then and then $3 for them to pull the vehicle record, which there wasn't one. So yeah, it's pretty inexpensive. Pretty easy, straightforward process, at least here in Arizona. Every state's a little different. Every state's a lot different, actually. Some states, I think, you don't even need a title for a car older than certain age. So, don't like I said, don't discount that old classic that you can't get a title on, because there is a process for it. Like I said, even if you have to go to a different state and do that, like I said, you can figure that out, how that works. Like I said, if there's a will, there's a way. That was my experience getting a title for a car that I didn't have a title on. So that's going to help with, if I go to resell the car, I'll be able to ask more for it because I got a title in my name. I can feel comfortable putting money in and time and labor and effort into the vehicle, and without fear of losing it all because somebody says, "Hey, that's my car," and claims it and picks it up. So I hope that helped you guys out, dispel any myths. This is, like I said, this is just my experience with this process. And if you find a classic car that you like, can't find a title, just do a little homework. Good luck. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Sure to subscribe, share with a friend, and we'll see you on the next one.